If you've clicked on this video, chances are you're looking for something a little more calm, a bit more clarity, maybe even a sense of purpose. You might feel like life is moving too fast, pulling you in directions you didn't choose. Or maybe you just want to start your day differently, not jumping straight into emails or scrolling through social media, but instead creating space for yourself, for peace, for presence. Well, you're in the right place. Today we're diving deep into the practice of morning mindfulness. Together we'll explore how ancient wisdom from Buddhism, meditation techniques, and modern mindfulness practices can transform not only how you wake up, but also how you live each moment of your day. Now, before we go any further, let me assure you, this isn't about perfection. It's not about becoming a monk or sitting cross-legged for hours at a time. If anything, it's about simplicity, about finding small ways to bring awareness, gratitude, and intention into your everyday life. Because when you do that, everything changes. Not overnight, but gradually, subtly, beautifully. Think about it. How often do we rush through our mornings? Maybe you hit snooze 5 times, scramble out of bed, and immediately dive headfirst into tasks. Emails pile up, deadlines loom, stress builds. But what if you could pause even for just a few minutes and set a different tone? What if you could greet the day with calm instead of chaos, with gratitude instead of griping, with purpose instead of panic? That's exactly what mindfulness offers us, a chance to slow down, breathe deeply, and reconnect with ourselves, with others, and with the world around us. And don't worry, if you're new to all of this, whether you've never meditated a day in your life or you've been practicing mindfulness for years, there's something here for everyone. We'll break things down step by step, offering practical tools and insights you can use right away. Throughout this journey, we'll draw inspiration from Buddhist teachings like impermanence, compassion, and non-judgment, but we won't get bogged down in philosophy. Instead, we'll focus on how these ideas can help you navigate real-life challenges, stress, overwhelm, self-doubt, and everything in between. We'll also explore simple practices you can weave into your daily routine, things like mindful breathing, setting intentions, cultivating gratitude, and letting go of overthinking. These aren't complicated rituals. They're gentle reminders to come back to the present moment again and again. So whether you're watching this because you need a reset button for your mind, or simply because you're curious about mindfulness, I invite you to settle in, take a deep breath, and allow yourself to be fully here for these next 2 hours. Let's make this time sacred, yours, a gift to yourself. Because no matter what's happening outside, you deserve moments of stillness, joy, connection, and those moments, they always begin within. Chapter 1. The Power of Morning. Let's talk about mornings. The quiet moments before the world wakes up. The golden light spilling through windows. The stillness that feels almost sacred. Mornings are more than just a time on the clock. They're an opportunity, a fresh beginning, a clean slate. And yet for many of us, mornings have become something else entirely. Think about it. How do you usually start your day? Do you wake up groggy, reaching for your phone to check notifications? Do you leap out of bed already thinking about deadlines, chores, or obligations? Or maybe you hit snooze repeatedly, trying to delay the inevitable rush into busyness. Whatever your routine looks like, chances are it doesn't leave much room for presence or peace. But here's the thing. How we begin our day often sets the tone for everything that follows. If we start in chaos, we carry that energy forward. If we start with calm, we give ourselves a chance to move through the day with greater ease. That's why mornings matter so much and why they're such fertile ground for mindfulness. In Buddhist teachings, mornings hold special significance. They're seen as a precious time, a moment to reconnect with yourself, align your intentions, and prepare for what lies ahead. It's not uncommon for practitioners to rise early, sit quietly, and engage in meditation or reflection. This isn't done out of obligation. but out of reverence for the day itself. By starting with awareness, they cultivate a sense of clarity and purpose that carries them through even the most challenging moments. Now, I know what you might be thinking. That sounds nice, but I don't have time for all that. Maybe your mornings are packed with responsibilities, getting kids ready for school, commuting to work, tackling a never-ending to-do list. Trust me, I understand. Life moves fast, and carving out space for mindfulness can feel impossible. But here's the beautiful truth. Mindfulness doesn't require hours of your time. In fact, it doesn't even require minutes. It simply asks for presence, for showing up fully, however briefly, in the moment you're in. So let's break this down. What does it mean to start your morning mindfully? At its core, it means waking up not just physically, but mentally and emotionally too. It means taking ownership of your energy, your focus, and your state of being before external demands take over. You don't need fancy tools or elaborate rituals to do this. All you need is a willingness to press pause, even for a few seconds, and tune into yourself. Here's one way to think about it. Imagine your morning as a foundation. Just as a strong house needs solid ground to stand on, a fulfilling day needs a stable emotional base. Without that base, everything feels shaky. Stress builds quickly, overwhelm creeps in. But when you lay a mindful foundation first thing in the morning, you create resilience. You build a buffer between yourself and the inevitable ups and downs of life. One powerful tool for establishing this foundation is conscious breathing. Your breath is always with you. It's constant, reliable, and free, yet most of us barely notice it. We breathe shallowly, unconsciously, letting our minds race while our bodies run on autopilot. Mindful breathing invites us to slow down, to anchor ourselves in the rhythm of inhales and exhales. When you take a few deep breaths upon waking, you signal to your nervous system that it's okay to relax. You remind your body and mind that you're safe, grounded, and present. Try this simple exercise tomorrow morning. As soon as you open your eyes, resist the urge to grab your phone or jump out of bed. Instead, take 5 deliberate breaths. Breathe in deeply through your nose, feeling your belly expand. Hold the breath for a moment, then exhale slowly through your mouth. Repeat this process 4 more times. Notice how each breath fills you with oxygen, clarity, and vitality. Feel the tension melt away, replaced by a gentle sense of calm. This practice might seem small, but its impact can be profound. Those 5 breaths set the stage for everything else. They create a transition, a bridge between sleep and wakefulness, between rest and action. They remind you that you have control over how you show up, even amidst the whirlwind of daily life. Another key element of a mindful morning is setting an intention. An intention is like a compass. It guides your thoughts, words, and actions throughout the day. Unlike goals, which are often tied to specific outcomes, intentions focus on how you want to be rather than what you want to achieve. For example, instead of saying, "I need to finish my project today," you might say, "I intend to approach my work with patience and curiosity." Setting an intention is simple. After your mindful breathing, ask yourself, what quality do I want to embody today? It could be kindness, courage, gratitude, or any other value that resonates with you. Once you've chosen your intention, hold it lightly in your mind. Let it guide you without gripping it too tightly. Remember, mindfulness isn't about perfection, it's about effort. Even if you forget your intention halfway through the day, that's okay. Simply return to it when you remember. Speaking of remembering, let's talk about habits. Building a mindful morning routine doesn't happen overnight. It takes consistency, patience, and self-compassion. Start small. Commit to 1 or 2 practices like mindful breathing or setting an intention, and build from there. Over time, these habits will become second nature, woven seamlessly into your day. And don't worry if you miss a day or 3. Life happens. Some mornings will be rushed, chaotic, or downright messy. That's part of being human. The beauty of mindfulness is that it meets you where you are. There's no judgment, no failure, only opportunities to begin again. Now let's zoom out for a moment and consider the bigger picture. Why does all of this matter? Why should we care about starting our mornings mindfully? Because every day is a gift, one that won't come around again. Time is fleeting, impermanent, and precious. By honoring the morning, we honor the day itself. We acknowledge that this moment matters, not because of what we accomplish, but because of who we choose to be within it. Mindfulness teaches us to live fully, to embrace the richness of each experience, no matter how ordinary it may seem. Drinking your coffee, brushing your teeth, walking to your car, these aren't mundane tasks. They're opportunities to connect with the present moment, to savor the details, to find joy in the little things. When we bring awareness to these activities, we transform them, we infuse them with meaning. So as we wrap up this chapter, I encourage you to reflect on your own relationship with mornings. Are they a source of stress or a sanctuary? Do they energize you or drain you? Whatever your answer, know that change is possible. With mindfulness, you can reclaim your mornings and, in doing so, reclaim your days. Tomorrow, try waking up just 5 minutes earlier. Use those extra moments to breathe, set an intention, or simply sit in silence. See how it feels to greet the day with calm instead of chaos. Notice the ripple effect it has on your mood, your interactions, your productivity. Remember, mindfulness isn't a destination, it's a journey. And like any journey, it begins with a single step, a single breath. So take that step now. Begin where you are with what you have. Trust that every effort counts, no matter how small. Because the power of morning lies not in grand gestures, but in subtle shifts. It's in choosing presence over distraction, gratitude over complaint, purpose over aimlessness. It's in recognizing that every new day is a chance to start again with open eyes, an open heart, and an open mind. Chapter 2. What is mindfulness? Now that we've explored the transformative power of mornings, let's dive deeper into one of the cornerstones of this practice, mindfulness. You've probably heard the term before. It's become something of a buzzword in recent years. But what does mindfulness really mean? And more importantly, how can it help you navigate the complexities of modern life with greater ease, clarity, and peace? At its essence, mindfulness is the art of paying attention, on purpose, in the present moment, and without judgment. It's about training your mind to focus on what's happening right here, right now, rather than getting lost in regrets about the past or anxieties about the future. Sounds simple, doesn't it? Yet simplicity doesn't always mean easy. Our minds are wired to wander, to plan, analyze, ruminate, daydream. Mindfulness asks us to gently guide our attention back to the present, over and over again, no matter how many times it strays. The roots of mindfulness stretch far back into history, particularly within Buddhist teachings. In fact, mindfulness is one of the central practices in Buddhism, where it's known as sati. The word itself comes from the Pali language, meaning awareness or attention. For thousands of years, monks and practitioners have used mindfulness as a tool for spiritual growth, self-discovery, and liberation from suffering. They understood that much of human pain stems not from external circumstances, but from the stories we tell ourselves about those circumstances. By observing thoughts, emotions, and sensations without clinging to them or pushing them away, we loosen their grip on us. We create space for freedom, for choice, for peace. But mindfulness isn't just for monks sitting in caves or meditating under trees. It's for everyone, for parents juggling responsibilities, students cramming for exams, entrepreneurs chasing dreams, retirees reflecting on life. It's for anyone who wants to live with more presence, intention, and authenticity. Because at the end of the day, mindfulness isn't about escaping reality. It's about embracing it fully, the good, the bad, the messy, the mundane. So how does mindfulness actually work? Let's break it down. Imagine your mind as a river. Sometimes the water flows smoothly, calm and clear. Other times it churns wildly, tossing debris and waves in every direction. Thoughts are like leaves floating down that river. Some drift peacefully, others swirl chaotically. Without mindfulness, we're swept along by the current, reacting impulsively to whatever arises. With mindfulness, we step back. We observe the flow without being consumed by it. We notice the leaves without trying to change their course. This ability to observe without judgment is crucial. Often when difficult thoughts or emotions arise, our instinct is to resist them. We label them as bad or wrong and try to push them away. But resistance only amplifies suffering. Mindfulness teaches us to meet these experiences with curiosity instead of criticism, to say, there's anger, or sadness has arrived, without attaching a story to it. This doesn't mean condoning harmful behavior or ignoring real problems. It means acknowledging what's present so we can respond wisely rather than react blindly. Let's take a closer look at how mindfulness operates in everyday life. One common misconception is that mindfulness requires sitting still in meditation for hours. While formal meditation is a powerful practice, mindfulness isn't confined to the cushion. It's a way of being, a lens through which we view the world. Every moment offers an opportunity to bring awareness to what's unfolding. Washing dishes, feel the warmth of the water, the texture of the sponge, the sound of plates clinking together. Walking to work, notice the rhythm of your steps, the sensation of air against your skin, the colors around you. Eating breakfast, savor each bite, tasting the flavors, appreciating the nourishment. The key is to engage fully with whatever you're doing, not multitasking, not rushing, not zoning out, but truly showing up. When you do this, even the simplest activities become rich with meaning. Mundane tasks transform into moments of connection with yourself, with others, with the world. Of course, developing mindfulness takes practice. Like any skill, it strengthens with repetition. Think of it as exercising a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. At first, you might struggle to stay focused. Your mind will wander. That's completely normal. The goal isn't to stop thinking altogether. It's to notice when your attention drifts and gently bring it back. Each time you do this, you're rewiring your brain, creating new neural pathways that support calm and clarity. There are countless ways to cultivate mindfulness, but one of the most accessible and effective is mindful breathing. Your breath is always with you, making it the perfect anchor for your attention. Whenever you feel scattered or overwhelmed, return to your breath. Feel the cool air entering your nostrils, the gentle rise and fall of your chest, the subtle pause between inhale and exhale. There's no need to control it, just observe it. Let it ground you, steady you, remind you that you're alive, here, now. Another powerful practice is body scanning. This involves systematically bringing awareness to different parts of your body, noticing any sensations without judgment. Start at the top of your head and slowly move downward. Your forehead, eyes, cheeks, jaw, neck, shoulders, arms, hands, torso, legs, feet. As you scan, pay attention to areas of tension or discomfort. Breathe into them, inviting relaxation. Over time, this practice helps you develop a deeper relationship with your body, fostering a sense of wholeness and integration. Mindful listening is another valuable tool. So often, we listen to respond rather than to understand. We interrupt, assume, or zone out while someone else is speaking. Mindful listening flips the script. It invites us to give our full attention to the speaker, tuning into their words, tone, and energy. This not only deepens our connections with others, but also enhances our own capacity for empathy and compassion. And then there's mindful eating, a practice that transforms meals into rituals of gratitude and enjoyment. Instead of devouring food mindlessly in front of a screen, slow down, take smaller bites, chew thoroughly, appreciate the textures, smells, and tastes. Reflect on the journey the food took to reach your plate. The farmers, the soil, the sun, the rain. When you eat this way, you honor both the meal and yourself. All of these practices share a common thread. They invite us to inhabit the present moment fully. They remind us that life unfolds not in some distant future, but in the here and now. Too often, we sacrifice the present for the sake of tomorrow, believing that happiness lies just beyond the next milestone. But mindfulness challenges this mindset. It whispers, what if happiness is already here? What if all you need to do is pay attention? That's not to say mindfulness eliminates difficulties. Life will always include challenges, loss, failure, uncertainty, pain. But mindfulness equips us to face these challenges with resilience and grace. It helps us see that suffering is often amplified by resistance, attachment, or identification with fleeting thoughts and emotions. By cultivating awareness, we learn to hold our experiences lightly, trusting that they too shall pass. In addition to its psychological benefits, mindfulness has profound effects on physical health. Research shows that regular mindfulness practice reduces stress, lowers blood pressure, improves sleep, boosts immune function, and even rewires the brain for greater emotional regulation. It's no wonder mindfulness-based interventions like mindfulness-based stress reduction, MBSR, and mindfulness-based cognitive therapy, MBCT, are becoming staples in healthcare settings worldwide. Yet perhaps the greatest gift of mindfulness is its accessibility. You don't need special equipment, expensive classes, or hours of free time to practice it. All you need is willingness to show up, to pay attention, to be present. Whether you're brushing your teeth, driving to work, or waiting in line at the grocery store, you can bring mindfulness to the moment. As you embark on this journey, remember that mindfulness is a lifelong practice, not a quick fix. There will be days when your mind feels like a runaway train, impossible to tame. On those days, be kind to yourself. Celebrate the effort, not the outcome. Progress is made not in leaps, but in tiny, consistent steps. Finally, let's talk about why mindfulness matters, not just for individuals, but for society as a whole. In a world increasingly dominated by distraction, division, and disconnection, mindfulness offers a path toward unity and understanding. It reminds us that we're all interconnected, that our actions ripple outward, affecting others in ways we may never fully comprehend. By cultivating mindfulness, we not only improve our own well-being, but also contribute to a more compassionate, harmonious world. So, as we conclude this chapter, I invite you to reflect on your own relationship with mindfulness. Have you ever tried it before? If so, what was your experience like? If not, what excites or scares you about diving in? Whatever your answer, know that mindfulness is available to you right here, right now. It's a journey worth taking, a journey back to yourself. Chapter 3, Waking Up with Gratitude. Gratitude is one of the most powerful forces we have access to. It's simple, yet profound. It has the ability to shift our perspective, soften our hearts, and open us up to the beauty of life, even amidst challenges. In this chapter, we're going to explore what gratitude truly means, why it matters, and how you can weave it into your mornings to create a foundation of positivity and purpose. At its core, gratitude is about noticing and appreciating the good in your life, both big and small. It's not just about saying thank you when someone does something kind for you. It's about recognizing the abundance that already exists within and around you. Gratitude helps us focus on what we do have rather than what we lack, shifting our energy from scarcity to sufficiency. And while this might sound like a lofty idea, it's actually rooted in very practical, accessible practices that anyone can adopt. In Buddhist teachings, gratitude plays a central role. The practice of reflecting on blessings and expressing appreciation is deeply intertwined with the concept of metta, or loving kindness. Buddhists believe that cultivating gratitude softens the heart, fostering compassion not only for others, but also for ourselves. When we feel grateful, we naturally become more generous, patient, and forgiving. We begin to see the interconnectedness of all things, the ways in which our lives are supported by countless acts of kindness, effort, and care. But gratitude isn't just a spiritual ideal. Science backs it up too. Research shows that practicing gratitude regularly can improve mental health, enhance relationships, increase resilience, and even boost physical well-being. People who keep gratitude journals report feeling happier, less stressed, and more optimistic about the future. They sleep better, cope with adversity more effectively, and experience greater overall satisfaction in life. These findings aren't surprising when you consider how gratitude rewires the brain. By focusing on positive experiences, we strengthen neural pathways associated with joy, contentment, and connection. Over time, this creates a virtuous cycle. The more we practice gratitude, the easier it becomes to find things to be grateful for. Now, let's talk about how gratitude fits into mindfulness. Mindfulness asks us to pay attention to the present moment, to notice what's happening right here, right now, without judgment. Gratitude takes this awareness a step further by inviting us to actively appreciate what we observe. For example, imagine waking up in the morning. A mindful approach would involve noticing the sunlight streaming through your window, the warmth of your blanket, the sound of birds chirping outside. Adding gratitude turns this observation into appreciation. I'm so thankful for the gift of sunlight today, or I'm grateful for the comfort of my bed and the safety of my home. This subtle shift from passive noticing to active appreciation can transform your entire outlook. Instead of taking things for granted, you start to see them as gifts. Even seemingly ordinary moments, a hot cup of tea, a friendly smile, a quiet stretch of time, become opportunities to connect with the richness of life. So how do you cultivate gratitude, especially if you're not naturally inclined toward it? One of the simplest and most effective methods is keeping a gratitude journal. Each morning, or whenever feels right for you, write down 3 things you're grateful for. They don't have to be monumental achievements or extraordinary events. In fact, the smaller and more specific, the better. For instance, instead of writing, "I'm grateful for my family," try, "I'm grateful for the laughter I shared with my child over breakfast," or "I'm grateful for the way the sunlight hit the leaves on my walk." The act of putting pen to paper slows you down, forcing you to reflect deeply on what truly matters to you. If journaling doesn't resonate with you, there are plenty of other ways to practice gratitude. You could say a silent prayer of thanks upon waking, mentally listing a few things you appreciate. You could express gratitude aloud to someone else, a partner, friend, colleague, or stranger, simply saying, "Thank you for being here," or "I appreciate you," can brighten both their day and yours. You could also incorporate gratitude into existing routines, like brushing your teeth or drinking coffee. As you perform these tasks, remind yourself to pause and give thanks for clean water, for dental hygiene products, for the farmers who grew your coffee beans. Another powerful practice is visualizing your blessings. Close your eyes and picture the people, places, and experiences that bring you joy. Imagine sending waves of gratitude toward them, thanking them silently for enriching your life. This visualization not only deepens your sense of appreciation, but also strengthens your emotional connection to those blessings. Of course, practicing gratitude isn't always easy. Some days it feels impossible to find anything worth celebrating. Maybe you're dealing with loss, illness, financial struggles, or relationship challenges. On those days, gratitude might seem out of reach or even inappropriate. But paradoxically, these are often the times when gratitude can help the most. When life feels heavy, focusing on even the tiniest glimmers of light can provide solace and strength. For example, let's say you're grieving the loss of a loved one. While nothing can erase the pain, you might still feel grateful for the memories you shared, the lessons they taught you, or the love that continues to live on in your heart. Or perhaps you're stuck in traffic, frustrated and running late. Instead of spiraling into anger, you could take a moment to appreciate the fact that you have a car to drive, fuel to power it, and roads to travel on. These small acknowledgements won't magically fix everything, but they can create a sense of balance, a reminder that life is complex, multifaceted, and full of both struggle and grace. It's also important to note that gratitude doesn't mean ignoring reality or pretending everything is perfect. Authentic gratitude coexists with honesty. You can acknowledge pain, hardship, and injustice while still finding reasons to be thankful. In fact, doing so makes your gratitude more meaningful, not shallow or superficial, but grounded in real-life complexity. Let's talk about why gratitude is particularly potent in the morning. As we discussed earlier, how you start your day sets the tone for everything that follows. If you begin with complaints about the weather, your alarm clock, your workload, you carry that negativity forward. But if you start with gratitude, you create a ripple effect of positivity. Your mind shifts from scarcity to abundance, from criticism to appreciation. This doesn't mean ignoring problems or pretending difficulties don't exist. Rather, it means choosing where to direct your attention first thing in the morning. By prioritizing gratitude, you give yourself a head start, a buffer against stress, overwhelm, and negativity bias. One beautiful aspect of gratitude is its contagious nature. When you express appreciation, it inspires others to do the same. Think about it. When someone thanks you sincerely, doesn't it make you want to pay it forward? Gratitude creates a feedback loop, spreading warmth and goodwill far beyond the initial gesture. Finally, let's zoom out and consider the bigger picture. Why does gratitude matter? Not just for individuals, but for society as a whole. Because gratitude fosters connection. In a world increasingly divided by differences, gratitude reminds us of our shared humanity. It encourages us to look beyond ourselves, to recognize the countless ways in which we rely on others for support, sustenance, and survival. From the grocery store clerk stocking shelves to the engineers designing infrastructure, every aspect of modern life depends on collective effort. Gratitude invites us to honor that effort, to acknowledge the web of interdependence that holds us all together. As we wrap up this chapter, I encourage you to reflect on your own relationship with gratitude. Do you already practice it regularly? If so, how has it impacted your life? If not, what barriers might be holding you back? Perhaps fear of vulnerability, skepticism about its effectiveness, or simply forgetting to pause and appreciate. Whatever the case, know that gratitude is a skill, one that grows stronger with practice. Tomorrow morning, challenge yourself to wake up with gratitude. Before you check your phone, scroll through social media, or jump into your day, take a moment to reflect. What are you thankful for today? Write it down, speak it aloud, or simply hold it in your heart. Trust that this small act can set a powerful intention, one that carries you through the hours ahead with calm, clarity, and joy. Because gratitude isn't just a practice, it's a way of living. It's a lens through which we view the world, a reminder that no matter how dark things may seem, there is always light to be found, if only we take the time to look. Chapter 4. Letting go of overthinking. Overthinking is one of the most common challenges we face in modern life. It's that relentless inner chatter, the endless loop of what-ifs, should-haves, and worst-case scenarios that keeps us stuck in our heads instead of fully living in the present moment. If you've ever found yourself replaying conversations, analyzing decisions, or imagining disasters before they happen, you're not alone. Overthinking affects nearly everyone at some point, but when left unchecked, it can drain our energy, cloud our judgment, and rob us of joy. In Buddhist teachings, this tendency to get lost in thought is often referred to as monkey mind, a restless, scattered state where the mind jumps from branch to branch, never finding rest. The metaphor is apt because overthinking feels chaotic, uncontrollable, and exhausting. One moment you're worrying about work, the next you're fretting about finances, relationships, or health. Before you know it, hours or even days have passed while your mind spins its wheels, going nowhere fast. Here's the good news: mindfulness offers a way out. By learning to observe our thoughts without getting swept away by them, we can break free from the cycle of overthinking and reclaim our mental clarity. Mindfulness teaches us that thoughts are just mental events. They come and go like clouds drifting across the sky. They don't define us and they don't have to control us. With practice, we can learn to step back, watch our thoughts objectively, and choose whether to engage with them or let them pass. So why do we overthink in the first place? At its root, overthinking stems from fear. Fear of making mistakes, fear of being judged, fear of uncertainty. Our brains are wired to anticipate danger and solve problems, which was essential for survival in ancient times. But in today's world, this same mechanism often works against us. Instead of protecting us from real threats, it fixates on hypothetical ones, keeping us trapped in cycles of rumination. The problem isn't having thoughts, it's attaching ourselves to them. When we identify too closely with our thoughts, we believe everything they tell us. We treat every worry as true, every criticism as valid, every prediction as inevitable. But mindfulness reminds us that thoughts are not facts. Just because you think something doesn't mean it's accurate or helpful. A thought like "I'll never succeed" might feel convincing in the moment, but it's just a story your mind is telling, not reality itself. One powerful tool for managing overthinking is labeling your thoughts. This technique involves noticing what kind of thinking you're doing and giving it a name. For example, if you catch yourself planning obsessively, silently say to yourself, "planning." If you're worrying about the future, label it as worrying. If you're replaying past events, call it replaying. Labeling creates distance between you and your thoughts, helping you see them more objectively. Instead of getting lost in the content of the thought, you focus on the process. I'm thinking again. This simple shift can be incredibly liberating. Another effective strategy is grounding yourself in the present moment. Overthinking pulls us out of the here and now, dragging us into imagined futures or regret-filled pasts. To counteract this, bring your awareness back to your body and surroundings. Notice the sensations in your feet as they touch the ground. Feel the texture of your clothing against your skin. Listen to the sounds around you, the hum of appliances, the rustle of leaves, the rhythm of your breath. These sensory details anchor you in reality, reminding you that you're safe right now, regardless of what your mind might be telling you. Mindful breathing is another cornerstone of breaking free from overthinking. Your breath is always available no matter where you are or what you're doing. Whenever you notice your mind spiraling, pause and take a few deep breaths. Inhale slowly through your nose, feeling your belly expand. Hold the breath for a moment, then exhale gently through your mouth. Repeat this process several times, focusing all your attention on the sensation of air moving in and out of your body. Breathing consciously interrupts the momentum of overthinking, creating space for calm and clarity to emerge. It's also helpful to challenge unhelpful thoughts directly. Ask yourself, is this thought true? Is it useful? What evidence supports or contradicts it? Often when we examine our thoughts critically, we realize they're based on assumptions, fears, or distorted perceptions rather than reality. For instance, if you're worried about failing at something, ask yourself, what's the worst that could happen? And if it did happen, how would I cope? Challenging catastrophic thinking helps shrink its power, making it easier to let go. Of course, letting go of overthinking takes practice. It's not something you master overnight. There will be days when your mind feels like a runaway train, impossible to slow down. On those days, be patient with yourself. Recognize that mindfulness is a skill, one that improves with repetition. Each time you notice your mind wandering and choose to return to the present, you're strengthening your ability to stay grounded. Progress is made, not in leaps, but in tiny, consistent steps. Let's talk about why mornings are particularly vulnerable to overthinking. Many of us wake up already anticipating the day ahead, rehearsing conversations, strategizing tasks, or dreading potential challenges. Starting the day this way sets a stressful tone, making it harder to stay present later on. That's why incorporating mindfulness practices into your morning routine is so important. By beginning with breathwork, gratitude, or intention setting, you create a buffer between sleep and the demands of daily life. You give yourself permission to arrive fully before jumping into action. Another key aspect of managing overthinking is cultivating self-compassion. Too often, we berate ourselves for overthinking, calling ourselves weak, irrational, or incompetent. But beating yourself up only fuels the cycle. It adds another layer of negative thinking to an already overwhelming situation. Instead, approach yourself with kindness. Remind yourself that overthinking is a natural human tendency, not a personal flaw. Treat yourself as you would a friend who's struggling, offering words of encouragement and support. Gratitude, too, plays a role in combating overthinking. By shifting your focus from what's wrong to what's right, you interrupt patterns of negativity. Even small expressions of appreciation for a warm cup of tea, a supportive colleague, or a beautiful sunrise can redirect your attention away from worries and toward wonder. Gratitude expands your perspective, reminding you that life is bigger than your current concerns. Finally, let's address the deeper question. Why does overthinking matter? Because it shapes not only our mental well-being but also our relationships, productivity, and overall quality of life. When we're caught in overthinking, we miss out on the richness of the present moment. We disconnect from others, neglect our passions, and lose sight of what truly matters. Overthinking keeps us stuck in our heads, preventing us from engaging fully with the world. But when we let go of overthinking, even partially, we open ourselves to new possibilities. We become more creative, resilient, and adaptable. We communicate more authentically, act more decisively, and experience greater peace of mind. Most importantly, we reconnect with the essence of who we are, beings capable of love, joy, and presence. As we conclude this chapter, I invite you to reflect on your own relationship with overthinking. How does it show up in your life? What triggers it? What tools or strategies have helped you manage it in the past? Whatever your answers, know that change is possible. With mindfulness, you can develop a healthier relationship with your thoughts, one that empowers you rather than imprisons you. Tomorrow morning, try starting your day with a short mindfulness exercise. Sit quietly, close your eyes, and observe your thoughts without judgment. If you notice overthinking creeping in, gently label it. Thinking. Then return your focus to your breath or another anchor, like the sensation of your hands resting on your lap. Trust that each moment of awareness brings you closer to freedom, a freedom rooted in presence, acceptance, and peace. Because the truth is, overthinking is optional. You don't have to live at the mercy of your mind. With practice, patience, and compassion, you can learn to let go and step into the fullness of the present moment. Chapter 5. Understanding Impermanence. If there's one universal truth about life, it's this: everything changes. Nothing stays the same. Not relationships, not emotions, not circumstances, not even ourselves. This principle is known in Buddhist teachings as anicca, or impermanence. It's a cornerstone of mindfulness and a key to unlocking deeper wisdom, acceptance, and peace. At first glance, impermanence might sound like a bleak concept. After all, who wants to dwell on the fleeting nature of things? We crave stability, permanence, certainty. We build routines, chase goals, and seek security, hoping to create a sense of control over our chaotic world. But clinging to what's temporary only leads to suffering, because change is inevitable. Everything we love, fear, or hold dear will eventually pass away. The question isn't whether things will change, it's how we relate to that reality. Mindfulness teaches us to embrace impermanence rather than resist it. When we understand that nothing lasts forever, we stop grasping so tightly to outcomes. We let go of the illusion that happiness depends on external conditions staying exactly as they are. Instead, we learn to flow with life, to adapt, to release, to trust in the natural rhythm of beginnings and endings. This doesn't mean giving up or becoming indifferent. On the contrary, recognizing impermanence deepens our appreciation for the present moment. Knowing that something won't last forever makes it all the more precious. Let's take a closer look at why impermanence matters and how it applies to every aspect of our lives. Think about your emotions, for example. Have you ever felt overwhelmed by sadness, anger, or anxiety, convinced that these feelings would never end? Yet, inevitably, they shifted. Even the most intense emotions fade with time, replaced by others. This ebb and flow is a natural part of being human. By reminding ourselves of impermanence during difficult moments, we gain perspective. We realize that no matter how heavy our pain feels right now, it won't always weigh us down. There's light at the end of the tunnel, even if we can't see it yet. The same principle applies to joyful experiences. How often do we rush through happy moments, taking them for granted because we assume they'll last indefinitely? We forget that happiness too is impermanent. By acknowledging this, we train ourselves to savor each experience fully, to drink deeply from the cup of joy while it's still in our hands. Whether it's laughter shared with loved ones, the warmth of sunlight on your face, or the satisfaction of completing a project, impermanence invites us to cherish these gifts without attachment. Now, let's zoom out and consider larger cycles of change: seasons, relationships, careers, health. Each stage of life has its own beauty and challenges. Spring gives way to summer, autumn follows winter. Friendships evolve, jobs come and go, bodies age. While some transitions bring excitement and growth, others involve loss and uncertainty. Mindfulness helps us navigate these shifts with grace. Instead of resisting change, we lean into it, trusting that every ending paves the way for a new beginning. In Buddhist philosophy, impermanence is closely linked to suffering, or dukkha. Much of our pain arises from clinging to what's impermanent, believing it will last forever. For instance, imagine losing a job you loved or ending a meaningful relationship. The initial shock and grief can feel unbearable, but beneath the surface lies an unspoken assumption: it should have lasted longer. I deserve better. Why me? These thoughts amplify our suffering, keeping us stuck in resistance. By contrast, when we accept impermanence, we soften our grip. We allow ourselves to grieve without denying reality. We honor what was while making space for what's next. So, how do we practice embracing impermanence in everyday life? One simple yet powerful exercise is observing nature. Nature is the ultimate teacher of impermanence. Watch leaves fall from trees, rivers carve through rocks, clouds drift across the sky. Notice how everything moves, transforms, dissolves. These cycles remind us that change is not only inevitable but also necessary for growth and renewal. Another way to work with impermanence is through mindful reflection. Each morning, or whenever feels right for you, take a few moments to contemplate the transient nature of life. Reflect on how your body has changed over time, how friendships have evolved, how seasons have passed. Then extend this awareness outward, considering the impermanence of cities, cultures, planets, stars. Recognizing the vastness of change puts our individual struggles into perspective, helping us feel both humbled and connected. Gratitude also plays a role in embracing impermanence. When we acknowledge that nothing lasts forever, we naturally become more appreciative of what we have right now. For example, if you're enjoying a meal, pause to thank the farmers, chefs, and elements that made it possible. If you're spending time with someone you care about, express your gratitude for their presence. These small acts of acknowledgement deepen your connection to the moment and to others. Of course, accepting impermanence doesn't mean detaching completely from life. Far from it. True mindfulness encourages us to engage fully with each experience, knowing that it won't last forever. Whether you're celebrating a milestone, comforting a friend, or facing a challenge, show up with your whole heart. Lean into the richness of the present, trusting that whatever comes next will carry its own lessons and opportunities. It's also important to address the fear that often accompanies impermanence. Change can be unsettling, especially when it involves loss or uncertainty. But fear doesn't have to paralyze us. By practicing mindfulness, we develop the courage to face change head-on. We learn to sit with discomfort, to breathe through uncertainty, to trust in our ability to adapt. Over time, fear loses its power, replaced by curiosity and openness. But let's talk about how impermanence shows up in mornings specifically. Mornings are a perfect microcosm of impermanence. The darkness of night gives way to dawn, then transitions to daylight. The quiet stillness of early hours evolves into the busyness of daily life. By starting your day with awareness of these subtle shifts, you cultivate a deeper connection to the flow of existence. You begin to see mornings not as static periods, but as dynamic thresholds, opportunities to witness change and participate in it consciously. Mindful breathing is another tool for working with impermanence. As you inhale and exhale, notice the impermanent nature of your breath. Each inhalation arises, peaks, and fades. Each exhalation follows the same pattern. Your breath mirrors the cycles of life itself, a constant reminder that everything comes and goes. Use this awareness to ground yourself whenever you feel overwhelmed by change. Return to your breath again and again, finding steadiness in its rhythm. Impermanence also offers a path toward forgiveness, both for ourselves and others. When we recognize that people are shaped by countless factors beyond their control, we soften our judgments. We understand that mistakes, misunderstandings, and conflicts are part of the human journey. They don't define us or anyone else forever. By letting go of rigid expectations, we create space for healing and reconciliation. Finally, let's consider the broader implications of impermanence for society, for the planet, for humanity as a whole. In a world obsessed with accumulation, permanence, and control, embracing impermanence feels radical. It challenges us to live differently, to prioritize presence over possessions, relationships over results, process over perfection. It reminds us that we're part of something much larger than ourselves, a web of interconnected systems constantly evolving and transforming. As we wrap up this chapter, I invite you to reflect on your own relationship with impermanence. Do you tend to cling to things, hoping they'll stay the same? Or do you resist change, fearing the unknown? Whatever your tendencies, know that impermanence is neither good nor bad. It simply is. Our task is to meet it with awareness, compassion, and courage. Tomorrow morning, try incorporating this awareness into your routine. As you wake up, take a moment to notice the changing light outside your window. Feel the coolness of the air, the texture of your sheets, the beat of your heart. Remind yourself that this moment is unique. It won't happen again. Let that realization inspire you to show up fully, to embrace the day with curiosity and care. Because impermanence is not a curse, it's a gift. It reminds us to pay attention, to value what we have, to live with intention. It teaches us that life is fragile, fleeting, and beautiful. And it calls us to step boldly into the present moment, knowing that it's the only place where true peace resides. Chapter 6. Breathing as a meditation anchor. Breath is life. It's the first thing we do when we enter this world and the last thing we do when we leave it. Yet despite its constant presence, most of us rarely pay attention to our breathing. We take it for granted, assuming it will happen automatically without any effort on our part. But what if I told you that your breath holds incredible power, a gateway to calm, clarity, and connection? Mindful breathing is one of the simplest, most accessible tools for cultivating mindfulness. It's always with us, free of charge, and requires no special equipment or training. Whether you're sitting in meditation, walking through nature, or stuck in traffic, your breath is a reliable anchor that can bring you back to the present moment. In this chapter, we'll explore why mindful breathing is so transformative, how it works, and how you can use it to deepen your mindfulness practice and your life. Let's start by understanding why breath is such an effective focal point. Unlike thoughts, emotions, or external stimuli, your breath is neutral. It doesn't carry judgment or baggage. It's steady, rhythmic, and predictable, making it an ideal anchor for attention. When you focus on your breathing, you create a sense of stability amidst chaos. You give your mind something concrete to hold on to, preventing it from wandering into worries about the future or regrets about the past. In Buddhist teachings, mindful breathing is often referred to as anapanasati, which means mindfulness of breathing. Monks and practitioners have used this technique for centuries to develop concentration, insight, and inner peace. The practice is simple. Observe the natural flow of your breath without trying to change it. Notice the cool air entering your nostrils, the gentle rise and fall of your chest, the subtle pause between inhale and exhale. Each breath becomes a reminder that you are alive, here, now. But mindful breathing isn't just for formal meditation. It's a portable tool you can use anytime, anywhere. Feeling stressed at work? Take a few deep breaths. Overwhelmed by a crowded subway? Focus on your breathing. Struggling to fall asleep? Let your breath guide you into relaxation. No matter the situation, mindful breathing helps you reset, to step out of autopilot and reconnect with the present moment. So, how does mindful breathing actually work? On a physiological level, slow, deliberate breathing activates the parasympathetic nervous system, the part of your body responsible for rest and relaxation. When you breathe deeply, your heart rate slows, your blood pressure drops, and your muscles relax. This creates a cascade of calming effects, reducing stress and promoting well-being. On a psychological level, mindful breathing interrupts patterns of overthinking. When you direct your attention to your breath, you break the cycle of rumination. Instead of getting lost in stories about what happened yesterday or might happen tomorrow, you return to the immediacy of the present. Your breath serves as a lifeline, pulling you out of mental turbulence and grounding you in reality. Now, let's talk about how to practice mindful breathing effectively. One of the most common techniques is called diaphragmatic breathing or belly breathing. To try it, place one hand on your chest and the other on your abdomen. As you inhale slowly through your nose, feel your belly expand like a balloon filling with air. Your chest should remain relatively still. Hold the breath for a moment, then exhale gently through your mouth, allowing your belly to deflate. Repeat this process several times, focusing all your attention on the physical sensations of breathing. Another method is counting breaths. This involves silently counting each inhale and exhale up to a certain number, usually 4, 5, or 10, and then starting over. For example, inhale 1, exhale 2, inhale 3, exhale 4, and so on. Counting adds structure to the practice, helping you stay focused and preventing distractions. If your mind wanders, simply acknowledge the thought and return to the count. Visualization can also enhance mindful breathing. Imagine your breath as a wave washing over you, cleansing tension and bringing calm. Picture golden light flowing into your body with each inhale, filling you with warmth and energy. With each exhale, visualize releasing negativity, stress, or heaviness. These images make the practice more engaging and help deepen your connection to the experience. For those who struggle with traditional breathing exercises, there are alternative approaches. Box breathing, for instance, involves inhaling, holding, exhaling, and pausing for equal counts, typically 4 seconds each. This creates a square-like rhythm that promotes balance and focus. Alternate nostril breathing, a technique from yoga, alternates airflow between the left and right nostrils, balancing the hemispheres of the brain and fostering harmony. Experiment with different methods to find what resonates with you. Mindful breathing isn't limited to seated meditation. You can integrate it into movement practices like yoga, tai chi, or walking. During yoga, synchronize your breath with your movements, inhaling as you stretch upward, exhaling as you fold forward. In tai chi, let your breath guide the fluidity of your motions, creating a seamless flow. When walking mindfully, coordinate each step with an inhale or exhale. feeling the ground beneath your feet and the air moving in and out of your lungs. Even everyday activities offer opportunities for mindful breathing. Drinking tea, pause after each sip and take a conscious breath. Washing dishes, breathe deeply as you scrub, noticing the warmth of the water and the scent of soap. Driving, use red lights as reminders to check in with your breath. By weaving mindful breathing into daily routines, you create moments of presence that add up over time. Of course, practicing mindful breathing isn't always easy. Our minds are conditioned to wander, and staying focused on the breath can feel frustrating at first. Thoughts will arise, that's normal. The key is not to fight them, but to acknowledge them kindly and return to your breath. Think of it like training a puppy. Every time the puppy runs off, you gently guide it back. Over time, it learns to stay put. The same principle applies to mindfulness. Consistency builds strength. It's also helpful to approach mindful breathing with curiosity rather than expectation. Instead of striving for perfection, explore the nuances of your breath. Notice its texture. Is it smooth or jagged? Its pace? Is it fast or slow? Its depth? Is it shallow or full? Tuning into these details sharpens your awareness and enriches the experience. Let's talk about why mornings are particularly conducive to mindful breathing. Waking up is a transition, a shift from sleep to wakefulness, from rest to action. Practicing mindful breathing during this time helps you ease into the day with intention and calm. Before reaching for your phone, scrolling through emails, or jumping into tasks, take a few moments to breathe deeply. Feel the freshness of the new day entering your body, clearing away any lingering grogginess or tension. This sets a peaceful tone that carries you forward. Mindful breathing also enhances emotional regulation. When faced with challenging situations, taking a few deep breaths gives you space to respond wisely instead of reacting impulsively. For example, imagine receiving criticism at work. Without mindful breathing, you might lash out defensively or retreat inwardly. But if you pause and breathe, you create a buffer, a moment to process the feedback objectively and choose how to proceed. Gratitude and compassion naturally arise from mindful breathing as well. As you breathe in, silently say to yourself, "Thank you for this breath." As you breathe out, extend kindness to yourself and others. "May I be happy. May you be safe." These affirmations deepen your connection to the practice and amplify its benefits. Finally, let's address the broader significance of mindful breathing, not just for individuals but for humanity as a whole. In a world increasingly dominated by distraction, disconnection, and division, mindful breathing reminds us of our shared humanity. It connects us to the universal rhythm of life, the fact that every living being relies on breath to survive. When we breathe mindfully, we honor this interconnectedness, fostering a sense of unity and belonging. As we conclude this chapter, I invite you to reflect on your own relationship with mindful breathing. Do you already incorporate it into your daily routine? If so, how has it impacted your life? If not, what barriers might be holding you back? Perhaps skepticism about its effectiveness, discomfort with stillness, or simply forgetting to pause. Whatever the case, know that mindful breathing is a skill, one that grows stronger with practice. Tomorrow morning, challenge yourself to begin your day with mindful breathing. Set aside 3 to 5 minutes, longer if you can, to sit quietly and observe your breath. Don't try to change it, just notice it. Feel its rhythm, its vitality, its constancy. Trust that this small act can set a powerful intention, one that anchors you in presence throughout the hours ahead. Because your breath is more than just air, it's a bridge between body and mind, self and world, chaos and calm. And it's always available to you, ready to guide you home. Chapter 7. Cultivating compassion for yourself. Others. Compassion is often misunderstood. Many people think of it as something soft, passive. or reserved only for extraordinary acts of kindness. But in reality, compassion is a powerful force, a source of strength, resilience, and connection. It's not just about feeling sorry for someone. It's about recognizing suffering, whether in ourselves or others, and responding with care, understanding, and action. In this chapter, we'll explore what compassion truly means, why it matters, and how you can cultivate it in your daily life to foster deeper relationships, greater self-acceptance, and a more meaningful existence. At its core, compassion has two essential components: awareness and response. First, we must become aware of suffering, our own or someone else's. This requires mindfulness, the ability to notice pain, discomfort, or struggle without turning away. Once we've recognized suffering, the second step is responding with kindness. This doesn't mean solving every problem or erasing all pain. It means offering presence, empathy, and support. Sometimes that might look like lending a helping hand. Other times it might simply involve listening deeply or holding space for someone to express their emotions. In Buddhist teachings, compassion is considered one of the highest virtues. Alongside wisdom and mindfulness, it forms the foundation of ethical living. The practice of karuna, or compassion, encourages us to extend love and care not only to those we know and love, but also to strangers, enemies, and even ourselves. Sound challenging? It absolutely is, but it's also incredibly rewarding. When we open our hearts to compassion, we break down barriers, dissolve judgment, and create a sense of unity with all beings. Let's start by talking about self-compassion, because if we don't treat ourselves kindly, it's nearly impossible to offer genuine compassion to others. Self-compassion involves treating yourself with the same warmth, patience, and understanding that you would extend to a dear friend. Yet for many of us, this is easier said than done. We're quick to criticize ourselves for mistakes, dwell on perceived flaws, or compare ourselves unfavorably to others. These habits stem from a deep-seated belief that being hard on ourselves will somehow make us better, stronger, or more successful. But a research shows the opposite is true. Self-criticism increases stress, lowers confidence, and undermines motivation. Self-compassion, on the other hand, empowers us to grow. Dr. Kristin Neff, a leading expert on the subject, identifies three key elements of self-compassion: self-kindness, common humanity, and mindfulness. Self-kindness means speaking to yourself gently, especially during difficult times. Instead of berating yourself for failing at something, remind yourself that failure is part of learning. Common humanity reminds us that we're not alone in our struggles. Everyone experiences pain, doubt, and imperfection. And mindfulness helps us acknowledge our emotions without exaggerating or suppressing them. Together, these elements create a nurturing, inner environment where healing and growth can flourish. One practical way to cultivate self-compassion is through affirmations or mantras. For example, when you're feeling overwhelmed, silently repeat phrases like, "I am doing the best I can," "I deserve kindness and care," or "this moment will pass." You can also place your hand over your heart, a gesture of comfort and reassurance, or write a letter to yourself from the perspective of a compassionate friend. These small acts of self-love accumulate over time, rewiring your brain to default to kindness rather than criticism. Now, let's turn our attention outward, to compassion for others. Extending compassion begins with empathy, the ability to put yourself in someone else's shoes and imagine what they might be feeling. Empathy isn't about fixing problems or giving advice. It's about truly seeing and validating someone's experience. When someone shares their struggles with you, resist the urge to jump in with solutions. Instead, listen attentively, nod occasionally, and reflect back what you hear. "That sounds really tough. I'm so sorry you're going through this." Sometimes just knowing that someone sees and cares about your pain is enough to ease it. Mindfulness plays a crucial role in cultivating compassion for others. Without awareness, it's easy to overlook the subtle signs of suffering, the tired eyes of a co-worker, the quiet frustration of a partner, the unspoken sadness of a neighbor. By tuning into these details, we become more attuned to the needs of those around us. And when we act on that awareness, whether by offering a kind word, performing an unexpected favor, or simply smiling warmly, we strengthen our connections and contribute to a culture of care. Loving kindness meditation, known in Buddhism as metta bhavana, is another powerful tool for developing compassion. This practice involves silently repeating phrases of goodwill toward yourself, loved ones, acquaintances, and even difficult people. A typical sequence might go like this: may I be safe, may I be healthy, may I be happy, may I live with ease. Once you've directed these wishes toward yourself, expand them outward. May my family and friends be safe, healthy, happy, and at ease. May the people I encounter today be safe, healthy, happy, and at ease. May those who challenge me be safe, healthy, happy, and at ease. May all beings everywhere be safe, healthy, happy, and at ease. The beauty of loving-kindness meditation lies in its inclusivity. It challenges us to transcend biases, grudges, and divisions, embracing the shared humanity of everyone, even those who irritate or harm us. While it may feel uncomfortable at first to wish happiness for someone you dislike, remember that their suffering doesn't exist in isolation. Pain spreads like ripples in water, affecting everyone it touches. By sending compassion to difficult individuals, you're indirectly contributing to your own peace of mind. Another way to nurture compassion is through random acts of kindness. These gestures don't have to be grand or elaborate. They can be as simple as holding the door for someone, leaving a generous tip, or sending a thoughtful text message. The key is intentionality. Approach each act with sincerity, knowing that even the smallest effort can brighten someone's day. Over time, these moments of generosity add up, creating a ripple effect that extends far beyond the initial interaction. Gratitude also enhances compassion. When we appreciate the blessings in our lives, we naturally feel moved to share them with others. For instance, if you're grateful for a supportive community, you might volunteer your time to help those in need. If you're thankful for good health, you might donate to organizations working to improve healthcare access. Gratitude inspires us to pay it forward, fostering a cycle of reciprocity and goodwill. Of course, practicing compassion isn't always easy. There will be days when you feel too drained, too busy, or too burdened to extend care to anyone, including yourself. On those days, remember that compassion doesn't require perfection. Even small efforts count. Holding the elevator for a stranger, acknowledging someone's effort, or simply taking a few deep breaths to center yourself, all of these actions matter. Progress is made not in leaps but in tiny, consistent steps. Let's talk about why mornings are particularly conducive to cultivating compassion. Waking up with an attitude of kindness sets a positive tone for the entire day. Before you interact with others, take a moment to set an intention. Today, I will treat myself and others with compassion. Visualize sending waves of goodwill to everyone you'll encounter: your partner, children, co-workers, neighbors, even strangers on the street. This mental rehearsal primes your brain to respond with empathy and care throughout the day. Mindful breathing can also deepen your capacity for compassion. As you inhale, imagine drawing in feelings of warmth, safety, and love. As you exhale, visualize releasing tension, resentment, and fear. Each breath becomes a reminder of your interconnectedness with all beings, a call to act with kindness and understanding. Finally, let's address the broader implications of compassion for society, for the planet, for humanity as a whole. In a world increasingly divided by differences, compassion bridges gaps. It reminds us that despite our diverse backgrounds, beliefs, and experiences, we all share the same fundamental desires: to belong, to thrive, to be seen and valued. By choosing compassion over judgment, collaboration over competition, and unity over separation, we create a more harmonious, equitable, and sustainable future. As we conclude this chapter, I invite you to reflect on your own relationship with compassion. How do you currently show up for yourself and others? What obstacles might be preventing you from extending more kindness? Perhaps fear of vulnerability, skepticism about impact, or simply forgetting to prioritize compassion. Whatever the barriers, know that change is possible. With mindfulness, you can develop a more compassionate mindset, one that enriches your life and uplifts those around you. Tomorrow morning, try incorporating compassion into your routine. Begin by setting aside a few minutes for loving-kindness meditation. Silently repeat phrases of goodwill toward yourself and others, allowing the words to sink into your heart. Then, carry that energy into your day. Look for opportunities to practice kindness, big or small, and notice how it feels to contribute to someone else's happiness. Trust that each act of compassion brings you closer to peace, a peace rooted in connection, acceptance, and love. Because compassion isn't just a practice. It's a way of being, it's a lens through which we view the world, a reminder that we're all in this together, and it's a choice, one that transforms not only our own lives but the lives of countless others. Chapter 8. Dealing with distractions, staying grounded. Distractions are everywhere. They come in countless forms. Notifications pinging on your phone, emails flooding your inbox, social media feeds scrolling endlessly, conversations interrupting your focus, and even internal chatter pulling you away from the present moment. In today's hyper-connected world, it's easy to feel like we're being pulled in 1,000 directions at once. But here's the truth, distractions aren't just external. They often stem from within us, and while we can't eliminate every interruption, we can learn how to manage them mindfully, staying grounded no matter what arises. Mindfulness teaches us that distractions aren't inherently bad, they're simply part of life. The problem isn't the distraction itself, it's our relationship to it. When we react impulsively or allow distractions to hijack our attention, they become obstacles to peace and productivity. But when we approach them with awareness, curiosity, and intention, we transform them into opportunities for growth. This shift doesn't happen overnight, it takes practice, but it's one of the most empowering skills you can develop. Let's start by understanding why distractions are so pervasive and why they affect us so deeply. Our brains are wired to seek novelty. Thousands of years ago, this trait was essential for survival. Spotting movement in the bushes could mean detecting a predator or finding food. Today, however, our environment bombards us with stimuli far beyond what our ancestors experienced. Smartphones, advertisements, streaming services, and endless digital content keep our brains in a constant state of stimulation. Over time, this overstimulation rewires our neural pathways, making it harder to focus and easier to get sidetracked. But here's the good news. Mindfulness offers tools to retrain your brain. By learning to recognize distractions, both external and internal, you can reclaim your focus and cultivate a sense of calm amidst chaos. Let's break this process down step by step. The first step is becoming aware of your triggers. What tends to distract you most? Is it your phone buzzing with updates, a co-worker stopping by unannounced, or perhaps racing thoughts about unfinished tasks? Identifying these patterns is crucial because awareness precedes change. Once you know what pulls you away, you can take proactive steps to address it. For example, if your phone is a major source of distraction, consider turning off unnecessary notifications or setting specific times to check messages. If mental clutter disrupts your focus, jotting down stray thoughts in a notebook can help clear your mind. Another powerful technique is creating intentional boundaries. Boundaries aren't about shutting people out or avoiding responsibilities. They're about protecting your time and energy so you can show up fully when it matters most. Start small. Designate tech-free zones or hours, such as during meals or before bed. Use apps that track screen time or block distracting websites. Communicate your needs clearly to those around you, whether it's asking not to be disturbed during certain periods or scheduling focused work sessions. These simple adjustments can make a big difference in reducing distractions. Now let's talk about grounding techniques. Practical strategies to anchor yourself in the present moment when distractions arise. One of the most effective methods is mindful breathing. Whenever you notice your attention wandering, pause and take a few deep breaths. Feel the air entering your nostrils, filling your lungs and leaving your body. Each breath serves as a reset button, bringing you back to the here and now. You don't need to stop what you're doing entirely, just weave breath awareness into whatever activity you're engaged in. For instance, if you're reading and find your mind drifting, pause briefly to breathe deeply before returning to the text. Another grounding exercise involves engaging your senses. When distractions threaten to overwhelm you, bring your awareness to your surroundings. Notice 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. This sensory inventory interrupts the momentum of distraction, reconnecting you with the physical reality of the moment. It's particularly useful in high-stress situations such as public speaking or navigating conflict. Labeling distractions is another helpful tool. When you catch yourself getting sidetracked, silently name what's happening. Thinking, planning, worrying, or noticing a sound. Labeling creates distance between you and the distraction, allowing you to observe it objectively rather than being swept away by it. Instead of fighting the distraction, acknowledge its presence and gently redirect your focus. With practice, this becomes second nature, a skill you can use anywhere, anytime. It's also important to address the role of multitasking in perpetuating distractions. Many of us pride ourselves on juggling multiple tasks simultaneously, believing it makes us more efficient. But research shows the opposite is true. Multitasking divides your attention, reduces performance, and increases stress. Mindfulness encourages single tasking, the practice of giving your full attention to one thing at a time. Whether you're writing an email, cooking dinner, or having a conversation, commit to being fully present. Close unnecessary tabs, silence your phone, and immerse yourself in the task at hand. Not only will you complete it more effectively, but you'll also enjoy it more deeply. Gratitude plays a surprising role in managing distractions. When we appreciate what we have right now, we're less likely to chase after fleeting pleasures or succumb to shiny object syndrome. For example, instead of compulsively checking social media, remind yourself of the value of real-life connections. Instead of obsessing over unread emails, express gratitude for the opportunity to rest and recharge. Gratitude shifts your perspective, helping you prioritize what truly matters. Let's zoom in on mornings specifically, since they're often prime time for distractions. How many of us wake up and immediately reach for our phones, scrolling through notifications before we've even brushed our teeth? This habit sets a scattered tone for the day, fragmenting our attention before we've had a chance to center ourselves. Instead, try starting your morning with a grounding ritual. Take a few moments to breathe deeply, stretch your body, or sip tea mindfully. Resist the urge to jump straight into tasks or technology. By beginning with presence, you create a buffer against distractions later on. Mindful transitions are another key aspect of staying grounded. Transitions, whether switching between tasks, moving from home to work, or ending one activity to start another, are common points where distractions creep in. To navigate them smoothly, build short mindfulness practices into these moments. For example, before leaving the house, pause to take 3 conscious breaths. As you walk to your car, notice the sensation of your feet hitting the ground. These tiny anchors keep you connected to the present, preventing your mind from spiraling into autopilot or anxiety. Of course, dealing with distractions isn't always easy. There will be days when interruptions feel relentless, overwhelming, or unavoidable. On those days, remember that mindfulness isn't about achieving perfection, it's about effort. Even if you lose focus repeatedly, each time you notice and return to the present, you're strengthening your ability to stay grounded. Progress is made not in leaps, but in consistent, compassionate steps. Let's talk about the emotional side of distractions. Often we get distracted not because something external demands our attention, but because we're trying to escape discomfort. Boredom, frustration, sadness, or fear can drive us to seek relief in distractions like social media, TV, or shopping. While these activities may provide temporary relief, they rarely address the underlying issue. Mindfulness invites us to sit with discomfort instead of running from it. When you notice yourself reaching for a distraction, pause and ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? What do I need? Sometimes simply acknowledging your emotions is enough to dissolve the urge to escape. Compassion also plays a role in managing distractions. Be gentle with yourself when you slip up. Criticizing yourself for losing focus only adds fuel to the fire, making it harder to regain clarity. Instead, treat yourself with kindness, reminding yourself that everyone gets distracted sometimes. Approach each moment as a fresh start, an invitation to begin again. Finally, let's consider the broader implications of staying grounded, not just for individuals, but for society as a whole. In a world increasingly dominated by noise, speed, and superficiality, mindfulness offers a counterbalance. It reminds us to slow down, listen deeply, and engage meaningfully. By cultivating presence, we inspire others to do the same, creating ripples of calm and connection that extend far beyond ourselves. As we conclude this chapter, I invite you to reflect on your own relationship with distractions. What pulls you away most frequently? What strategies have helped you stay focused in the past? Whatever your answers, know that mindfulness provides a toolkit for navigating distractions with grace and resilience. Tomorrow morning, challenge yourself to begin your day with intention. Set aside a few minutes to breathe deeply, label any distractions that arise, and ground yourself in the present moment. Carry this awareness into your day using sensory anchors or mindful transitions to stay centered. Trust that each effort brings you closer to peace, a peace rooted in presence, purpose, and possibility. Because distractions are inevitable, but they don't have to define us. With mindfulness, we can learn to flow with life's interruptions, staying grounded in who we are and what truly matters. Chapter 9. Aligning with Purpose. Purpose is one of those words that carries a lot of weight. It evokes images of grand missions, life-changing contributions, or profound legacies. But purpose doesn't have to be monumental to be meaningful. At its heart, purpose is about living in alignment with your deepest values, choosing actions, words, and thoughts that reflect who you truly are and what matters most to you. In this chapter, we'll explore how mindfulness can help you uncover your purpose, stay connected to it, and use it as a guiding light in your daily life. Let's begin by dispelling a common myth. Purpose isn't something you find, it's something you create. Many people spend years searching for their one true calling, believing that once they discover it, everything will fall into place. While this idea can feel inspiring, it often leads to frustration because purpose isn't a singular destination, it's an ongoing journey. Mindfulness teaches us to embrace this fluidity, recognizing that our sense of purpose evolves over time as we grow, learn, and adapt. So, how do you start aligning with purpose? The first step is self-reflection. Take a moment to consider what truly matters to you, not what society expects, not what others demand, but what resonates deeply within your heart. Ask yourself, what kind of person do I want to be? What impact do I want to have on the world? These questions aren't always easy to answer, especially if you're used to prioritizing external achievements like promotions, accolades, or material success. But when you dig beneath the surface, you'll likely uncover core values such as kindness, creativity, connection, or service. These values form the foundation of your purpose. They guide your decisions and shape your interactions. Mindfulness plays a crucial role in this process because it helps you tune out the noise and listen to your inner voice. Without awareness, it's easy to get swept up in societal pressures, comparing yourself to others, or chasing goals that don't align with your authentic desires. By practicing mindfulness, you cultivate clarity, a lens through which you can see beyond distractions and identify what truly fulfills you. One practical way to clarify your purpose is through journaling. Set aside some quiet time, perhaps in the morning when your mind is fresh, and write freely about what brings you joy, meaning, and satisfaction. Don't censor yourself or worry about grammar. Just let the words flow. You might be surprised by what emerges. For example, You may realize that spending time with loved ones gives you a deeper sense of fulfillment than climbing the corporate ladder. Or you might discover a passion for helping others that inspires you to volunteer, mentor, or pursue a career change. Journaling allows your subconscious mind to reveal insights that might otherwise remain hidden. Another powerful tool is visualization. Close your eyes and imagine your ideal day, from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to sleep. What does it look like? Who are you with? How do you feel? Pay attention to the details, noticing what activities energize you and which environments make you feel at peace. Visualization taps into your intuition, offering clues about the lifestyle and pursuits that resonate with your purpose. Gratitude also enhances your ability to align with purpose. When you focus on what you already have, whether it's supportive relationships, creative talents, or opportunities for growth, you naturally gravitate toward actions that amplify these blessings. For instance, if you're grateful for your artistic abilities, you might choose to dedicate more time to painting, writing, or playing music. If you appreciate the kindness of strangers, you might decide to pay it forward by volunteering or performing random acts of kindness. Gratitude illuminates pathways to purpose, showing you where to direct your energy. Now, let's talk about how mornings are particularly conducive to connecting with purpose. Waking up with intention sets a powerful tone for the entire day. Before you dive into tasks or routines, take a few moments to reflect on your purpose. Ask yourself, what kind of energy do I want to bring to today? How can I embody my values in everything I do? Write down your answers or repeat them silently as affirmations. For example, you might say, "Today I will speak kindly to myself and others," or "Today I will approach challenges with curiosity and courage." These statements act as reminders, anchoring you in your purpose throughout the day. Mindful breathing can also deepen your connection to purpose. As you inhale, imagine drawing in qualities that align with your values: strength, compassion, creativity, resilience. As you exhale, visualize releasing anything that doesn't serve your purpose: fear, doubt, negativity. Each breath becomes a symbolic gesture of commitment, reinforcing your dedication to living authentically. Of course, aligning with purpose isn't always straightforward. Life throws curveballs, unexpected setbacks, disappointments, or detours that challenge even the strongest sense of direction. During these times, mindfulness becomes especially important. Instead of clinging rigidly to a specific vision of purpose, practice flexibility. Remind yourself that purpose isn't fixed. It adapts as circumstances change. For example, losing a job might initially feel devastating, but it could open doors to new opportunities that better align with your passions. A health issue might force you to slow down, prompting you to reassess your priorities and focus on what truly matters. Challenges, while painful, often lead to growth if you approach them with openness and curiosity. Compassion plays a vital role in navigating these transitions. Be gentle with yourself when things don't go according to plan. Criticizing yourself for straying from your path only creates resistance, making it harder to realign with purpose. Instead, treat yourself with kindness, reminding yourself that everyone faces uncertainty at some point. Approach each moment as a chance to recalibrate, to check in with your values and adjust your course accordingly. Let's zoom in on the relationship between purpose and presence. Living with purpose doesn't mean constantly striving toward big goals or sacrificing the present for the future. On the contrary, mindfulness teaches us that purpose unfolds in the here and now. And every action, no matter how small, can be infused with meaning if approached with awareness and intention. Washing dishes, walking your dog, or having a conversation with a friend can all embody your values if you show up fully. Presence transforms ordinary moments into extraordinary expressions of purpose. Gratitude practices further reinforce this connection. At the end of each day, take a few minutes to reflect on how you lived in alignment with your purpose. Did you treat someone with kindness? Did you tackle a project with enthusiasm? Did you pause to appreciate beauty in nature or art? Celebrating these moments reinforces positive patterns, motivating you to continue living intentionally. Another aspect of aligning with purpose is letting go of comparison. Social media, advertising, and cultural narratives often pressure us to measure our worth against others' achievements, but purpose is inherently personal. It's unique to you and no one else. Comparing yourself to someone else's journey only dilutes your authenticity, pulling you away from what truly matters to you. Mindfulness helps you resist this temptation by grounding you in your own experience. When you notice envy or jealousy creeping in, acknowledge it without judgment, then redirect your focus to your own path. Finally, let's address the broader implications of aligning with purpose, not just for individuals, but for humanity as a whole. In a world increasingly driven by consumerism, competition, and superficiality, purpose reminds us of our shared humanity. It calls us to contribute in ways that uplift others, protect the planet, and foster connection. Whether you're raising children, teaching students, healing patients, creating art, or advocating for justice, your purpose ripples outward, touching lives far beyond your immediate circle. As we conclude this chapter, I invite you to reflect on your own relationship with purpose. Do you currently feel aligned with your values? If so, what practices help you stay connected? If not, what barriers might be holding you back? Perhaps fear of failure, lack of clarity, or overwhelming responsibilities. Whatever the obstacles, know that mindfulness provides tools to navigate them with patience, persistence, and compassion. Tomorrow morning, try beginning your day with purpose. Take a few moments to breathe deeply, visualize your ideal self, and set an intention for the day ahead. Carry this awareness into your interactions, infusing each moment with meaning. Trust that every effort counts, no matter how small. Because purpose isn't something you achieve, it's something you embody. It's a way of being, a reminder that every breath, every step, every choice has the potential to reflect who you are and what you value. And when you live this way, you not only transform your own life, but inspire others to do the same. Chapter 10. Ending with presence. As the sun sets and the day winds down, we arrive at a crucial yet often overlooked part of our journey, how we end our day. Just as mornings set the tone for what's to come, evenings provide an opportunity to reflect, release, and recharge. In this final chapter, we'll explore how mindfulness can guide you through the process of closing your day with intention, gratitude, and calm. Too often, we let evenings slip away without much thought. We scroll through our phones, watch TV, or tackle last-minute tasks, leaving little room for reflection or relaxation. But ending the day mindfully doesn't mean adding more to your to-do list. It means creating space to honor the moments you've lived, acknowledge your efforts, and prepare yourself for restorative sleep. By doing so, you not only enhance your well-being, but also cultivate a deeper sense of connection to yourself and the world around you. Let's start by understanding why ending with presence matters. The way we conclude our days shapes not only how we sleep, but also how we wake up the next morning. If we rush through evenings carrying stress or unresolved emotions into bedtime, we risk disrupting our rest and starting the next day already behind. On the other hand, when we approach evenings with mindfulness, we create a buffer, a sacred time to decompress, integrate experiences, and nurture ourselves. This practice not only improves sleep quality, but also fosters resilience, helping us face challenges with greater clarity and calm. One of the most powerful tools for ending the day mindfully is gratitude reflection. Gratitude isn't just a morning practice, it's equally valuable in the evening. As you wind down, take a few moments to think about the events of your day. What went well? Who made you smile? What lessons did you learn? Even if the day felt difficult, there are always small blessings to appreciate. A kind word from a stranger, a moment of sunshine, or simply the fact that you're still here. Writing these reflections in a journal can deepen their impact, giving you a tangible record of positivity to revisit during tougher times. Gratitude. Reflection also serves another purpose. It shifts your focus from lack to abundance. At the end of a busy or stressful day, it's easy to dwell on what didn't go as planned. The meeting that ran late, the argument with a loved one, the task you forgot to complete. While acknowledging these challenges is important, fixating on them can amplify negativity, making it harder to relax. By consciously choosing to highlight the good, you counteract this tendency, fostering a sense of contentment and closure. Mindful breathing is another cornerstone of ending the day with presence. As you transition from activity to stillness, take a few deep breaths to signal to your body and mind that it's time to slow down. Feel the air entering your nostrils, filling your lungs, and leaving your body. Each exhale carries tension, worries, and distractions away, creating space for peace and relaxation. You might pair this practice with visualization, imagining yourself releasing any lingering stress or negativity with each breath. Picture it dissolving into the night, replaced by calm and serenity. Another effective technique is body scanning. Lie down comfortably, close your eyes, and bring your awareness to different parts of your body, starting at the top of your head and moving downward. Notice any areas of tension or discomfort, inviting them to soften and relax. This practice not only promotes physical relaxation, but also anchors your attention in the present moment, preventing your mind from racing ahead to tomorrow's tasks or replaying today's events. Over time, body scanning becomes a ritual of self-care, signaling to your nervous system that it's safe to unwind. Journaling can also play a pivotal role in ending the day mindfully. Beyond gratitude, consider writing about your thoughts, feelings, and experiences in a free-flowing manner. Don't worry about structure or coherence, just let the words pour onto the page. This process helps you process emotions, gain perspective, and release anything weighing on your mind. For example, if you're feeling frustrated about a conflict at work, journaling allows you to articulate your feelings and identify potential solutions. If you're celebrating a personal victory, putting it into words amplifies its significance, reinforcing positive patterns. Compassion is another key element of mindful evenings. Extend kindness not only to others but also to yourself. Reflect on your actions throughout the day, acknowledging both successes and missteps. Instead of berating yourself for mistakes, treat yourself with understanding and forgiveness. Remind yourself that imperfection is part of being human, and that every experience offers an opportunity to grow. You might even write a short note to yourself, such as, "You did your best today, and that's enough." These affirmations plant seeds of self-compassion, nurturing your inner resilience. Now let's talk about the importance of disconnecting from technology before bed. Screens emit blue light, which disrupts melatonin production and interferes with sleep. More importantly, they keep our minds engaged, pulling us into endless scrolling, notifications, or stimulating content. To create a peaceful evening routine, establish tech-free boundaries at least 30 minutes before bedtime. Use this time to engage in calming activities instead, reading a book, practicing gentle stretches, sipping herbal tea, or listening to soothing music. These rituals signal to your brain that it's time to shift gears, promoting relaxation and readiness for sleep. Mindful movement is another excellent way to end the day. Unlike intense exercise, which can energize rather than calm, mindful movement emphasizes slow, deliberate motions designed to release tension and quiet the mind. Yoga poses like child's pose, legs up the wall, or supine twist are particularly effective for winding down. Alternatively, you might try Tai Chi or Qigong, ancient practices that combine movement, breath, and meditation to harmonize body and spirit. Even simple stretches, rolling your shoulders, arching your back, or flexing your feet can make a big difference in easing physical discomfort and mental clutter. Visualization exercises can further enhance your evening mindfulness practice. Close your eyes and imagine yourself in a peaceful setting, a serene beach, a quiet forest, or a cozy cabin. Engage all your senses, picturing the colors, hearing the sounds, feeling the textures. Allow this mental escape to transport you to a place of tranquility, detaching you from the busyness of the day. Some people find it helpful to visualize their worries as objects floating down a river, drifting farther and farther away until they disappear entirely. Others imagine wrapping themselves in a warm blanket of safety and love, cocooning themselves in comfort. Find what resonates with you and incorporate it into your nightly routine. Gratitude and compassion extend beyond yourself. They ripple outward, touching those around you. Before bed, consider reaching out to someone who brought light to your day. It could be as simple as sending a text message, leaving a note, or mentally expressing thanks. Acts of kindness, no matter how small, foster connection and goodwill, reminding you that you're part of something larger than yourself. Let's zoom in on the role of mindfulness in improving sleep. Sleep is essential for physical health, emotional regulation, and cognitive function. Yet, many of us struggle to fall asleep or stay asleep due to racing thoughts, anxiety, or overstimulation. Mindfulness addresses these issues by calming the nervous system and quieting the mind. Techniques like mindful breathing, body scanning, and visualization activate the parasympathetic nervous system, the part of your body responsible for rest and digestion, preparing you for deep, restorative slumber. Consistent practice not only enhances sleep quality, but also reduces insomnia and fatigue over time. Of course, ending the day mindfully requires consistency and commitment. There will be evenings when you feel too tired, too busy, or too overwhelmed to engage in these practices. On those nights, remember that mindfulness isn't about perfection. It's about effort. Even taking a few deep breaths or jotting down one thing you're grateful for can make a difference. Progress is made not in leaps, but in tiny, compassionate steps. Finally, let's address the broader implications of ending with presence, not just for individuals, but for humanity as a whole. In a world increasingly dominated by speed, noise, and superficiality, mindfulness offers a counterbalance. It reminds us to slow down, reflect deeply, and honor the natural rhythms of life. By cultivating presence in the evenings, we contribute to a culture of care, one that values rest, introspection, and connection. As we conclude this chapter, and indeed this entire journey, I invite you to reflect on your own relationship with evenings. How do you currently spend your nights? What habits help you wind down, and which ones hinder your ability to relax? Whatever your answers, know that mindfulness provides tools to transform your evenings into opportunities for growth, gratitude, and peace. Tonight, challenge yourself to end your day with presence. Take a few moments to breathe deeply, express gratitude, and release tension. Create a calming bedtime routine that nourishes your body and soul. Trust that each effort brings you closer to balance, a balance rooted in awareness, acceptance, and love. Because how we end our days shapes not only our nights, but also our tomorrows. With mindfulness, you can close each chapter of your life with grace, knowing that every moment matters and that you have the power to choose how you show up within it. And so, we come to the end of our time together. A journey through mornings, mindfulness, and the art of living with presence. As we sit here in this moment, I want to take a deep breath with you, one last shared inhale and exhale, as a way of honoring everything we've explored over these past 2 hours. If there's one thing I hope you'll carry forward from today, it's this. Mindfulness isn't about perfection, it's about practice. It's not about achieving some elusive state of eternal calm or enlightenment. It's about showing up again and again for yourself and for the world around you. Each breath, each thought, each action is an opportunity to reconnect, to come home to who you truly are. We began this video by talking about mornings, those quiet moments before the day unfolds. We discussed how starting with calm, gratitude, and purpose can set a tone that ripples outward, influencing not just your hours, but your entire life. From there, we dove into mindfulness itself, the art of paying attention on purpose without judgment, and uncovered tools like mindful breathing, body scans, and loving-kindness meditation to help you stay grounded. We explored gratitude, learning to see abundance even in small things, and discovered how embracing impermanence can deepen our appreciation for the fleeting beauty of life. Along the way, we tackled challenges like overthinking, distractions, and self-criticism, offering practical strategies to navigate them with compassion and clarity. And finally, we reflected on purpose and presence, how aligning with your values and ending your days mindfully can bring coherence and meaning to your existence. Through all of this, one truth has remained constant. Mindfulness is a gift, one that keeps giving no matter where you are or what you're facing. It reminds us that peace isn't something we find outside ourselves, it's something we cultivate within. Whether you're sipping tea, walking in nature, or simply sitting still, every moment holds the potential for connection to yourself, to others, to the present. As you move forward, remember that mindfulness doesn't require grand gestures or hours of dedication. It thrives in the tiny, ordinary moments, the ones we often overlook. Drinking water, brushing your teeth, waiting at a red light. These aren't interruptions to your mindfulness practice. They are your mindfulness practice. The key is to approach them with awareness, curiosity, and care. I also want to acknowledge the courage it takes to embark on this path. In a world that constantly pulls us outward, towards screens, schedules, and societal expectations, choosing mindfulness is an act of rebellion. It's saying yes to slowness when everyone else is rushing. It's choosing presence when distraction beckons. And it's trusting that the simplest acts, breathing deeply, expressing gratitude, holding space for yourself and others, are enough. Now, as we close this chapter, I encourage you to reflect on what resonated most with you today. Was it the power of morning rituals, the transformative potential of gratitude, the grounding force of mindful breathing? Whatever spoke to your heart, let it guide you moving forward. Start small. Commit to 1 or 2 practices that feel accessible and meaningful and build from there. Over time, these habits will become second nature, woven seamlessly into your daily life. Before we part ways, I'd like to express my deepest gratitude for your presence, your openness, and your willingness to explore this journey alongside me. If this video touched you in any way, please consider sharing it with someone who might benefit from its message. Together we can create a ripple effect of calm, kindness, and connection. And if you're new to the Mindful Zone, welcome. This channel exists to support you on your mindfulness journey, offering resources, guidance, and community. Subscribing ensures you'll never miss an opportunity to deepen your practice and continue growing. But whether you subscribe or not, know that you already have everything you need within you to live mindfully. All you have to do is begin. So, as we say goodbye for now, I leave you with this gentle reminder: you are enough, just as you are, right here, right now. Every moment is a chance to start again, to breathe, to notice, to love. Trust in your ability to meet life with openness and grace, knowing that mindfulness is always available to you, no matter where you are or what you're facing. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. And thank you for choosing to show up fully for yourself and for the world. Until next time, may you walk gently through your days, finding peace in every step. Namaste.